On the day after, I'm Ed Kelly, editor of The Oklahoman, with our D.C. All-Stars, Chris Castile, chief of The Oklahoman's Washington Bureau, and Mark Green, national editorial writer for The Oklahoman. What a night, guys. We now have a new Democratic president, and the Democrats picked up at least 5 more seats in the Senate and a dozen or more seats in the House. What might this Democratic domination of Washington mean?
Well, it's going to be interesting, Ed. I mean, I think the ghosts of 1994 and the midterm elections of Bill Clinton's first term when the Democrats got wiped out probably are still, if not fresh, at least still there in a lot of Democrats' memories. The current Democratic leadership team, Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, people like that, they were here when that happened. They know why it happened. And they have no interest, I'm sure, in watching it happen again. So I think there would be at least some caution on their part. On the other hand, you know, Senator Obama was just elected on a platform of raising taxes for the wealthy, getting the U.S. troops out of Iraq, and reforming the healthcare system. And moving the country towards energy independence. So he's got an ambitious agenda, and it's just going to be interesting to see him work with the Democratic leadership in the House and Senate to see how boldly they move and how quickly they move.
I agree. I think the really interesting dynamic will be, at least at the outset, will be an all-Democratic story. Just who is doing the leading? I mean, ostensibly, you believe that the president would be doing the leading, but Representative Pelosi and Senator Reid have been over there at the other end of the Pennsylvania Avenue for a long time, waiting for their turn. Right. They have their own agenda, their own ideas. I would suspect that President Obama will get an extensive honeymoon period, but as Chris said, there's going to be an interesting tension going on between the two of them as they have all the levers of power in their hands. Okay, let's talk real briefly about the Republicans then. What role can they play, or even in the short term, do they matter at all? Well, I think they matter. I think they have to be very careful about the role they play. The country spoke in a pretty loud voice Tuesday, and I think that any attempt to play a scorched earth strategy where you basically obstruct everything, especially in the Senate side where they can still filibuster, would be greeted very badly by the country. So I think what they have to do is they have to choose their battles wisely, try to really outline some core principles, some core issues that they want to stand firm on. But generally, I think they're going to have to cooperate, and they really should cooperate and work on the behalf of the country with this new president and the Democratic Congress.
I agree with that. I don't think the electorate's in any mood for the partisan squabbling of old. And now they're going to have somebody in the White House who's eloquent enough to make Republicans, you know, look bad if they do take an approach like that. I mean, he made bipartisanship and unity a big theme of his campaign, change, and that you know, you heard that over and over this time, that one of the things people wanted change in is the partisanship in Washington.
I think it'll be really interesting to see who they come up with leadership. We were talking a little bit this morning about, on the House side especially, what the results will do to the House Republican leadership, and you might see some new faces in there, some people that can try to take this as a lesson and really form the basis for the next Republican push, which could come as early as a couple of years. Right.
Chris, Mark, thank you. Good job. Stay here on News OK all day long for more coverage of the presidential election.